Senate voted today on a resolution to block the president's emergency powers, the ones he's using to authorize and pay for building a wall at the southern border. What does any of this mean, and why does it matter? Presidents have had national emergency powers for about as long as we've had presidents. George Washington used national emergency powers. Abraham Lincoln used them to send ships to blockade southern ports. One of the most famous examples of a president using emergency powers was FDR using it to intern tens of thousands of Japanese Americans during World War II. So a president's emergency powers can be incredibly expansive. They can be incredibly broad. Sometimes they can also be really mundane. After Watergate, though, Congress wanted to curb the president's power, and that's why we have the National Emergencies Act of 1976. After this act, it said that any presidential emergencies have to be renewed every single year. And right now, there are 30 national emergencies that have been getting renewed year after year. Probably the most famous is a national emergency that President Carter put in place after the Iranians took over the U.S. Embassy in Tehran back in the 70s.
This is NBC Nightly News.
The lives of over 50 innocent people are at stake. The foundation of civilized diplomacy is at stake.
Congress and the courts both have ways that they can block a president's national emergency declaration. Back in 1976, the law said that Congress could pass a concurrent resolution, meaning a simple majority in both houses would be enough to block a president's emergency declaration. In the 1980s, the courts pushed back, though, and said that the president could veto a concurrent resolution. So now it needs both houses to pass something with a veto-proof majority for Congress to block a national emergency. The courts have it a little bit easier. They can block a national emergency, too. They did it to Truman in the 1950s when he tried to nationalize the steel industry. The courts have ruled that the president's national emergency powers are at their strongest when he tries to do something that Congress approves of or hasn't spoken about at all. And they're at their weakest if the president tries to do something that Congress has already spoken about or said they don't want to see get done. This matters because with both houses of Congress voting to oppose the president, it makes it more likely that when this national emergency, the one about building the wall, gets to the Supreme Court, they might look at it and say, here's a president who's acting in defiance of Congress, not with a Congress that's been silent or not paying attention to this issue. So while, yes, the president could veto the resolution that the House and Senate are about to send him, there are 16 states suing the federal government over this issue. So it could be any one of those cases or a group of them that ultimately end up just down the street over here in front of the Supreme Court.
Hey, NBC News viewers, thanks for checking out our YouTube channel. Subscribe by clicking on that button down here and click on any of the videos over here to watch the latest interviews, show highlights, and digital exclusives. Thanks for watching.